Wow, so
G'day all. How are we going this week? It has been a busy, busy week. I am live from my car today. Currently having to drive the missus to her doctor's appointment, but she will be now driving once she gets back in the car. How's your week been? Cranky?
it's been a busy week. I'll give it that much. Far out. So much has
Busy,
happened.
busy.
It's been full on at work. It's been full on at home. Like
Yeah,
any weekend that I have the kids is just a it's a it's a shit show of a weekend.
it's a busy, busy.
I mean, on
It's
top of
it.
all that, we had one of those fucking rental inspections and everything like that. So.
Just to top off the week, have one of those.
Hmm.
Start off the whole new week and hit the rental inspection already for a Monday morning.
Yeah. At least I can
uh,
say the house is incredibly clean.
that's yeah. Well, that's it's always for a week or so, and then it never it never stays that way. I
And yeah,
always say the
and
same
it's
thing. Right, the house is staying clean. The house is staying clean. No more mess. A week later, crap.
we're gonna stay on top of it this time. The
Yeah,
house is
stay
gonna
on top of
stay
it. Stay on top of it.
immaculate.
I'll do it tomorrow.
It
I'll do it
doesn't.
the next day. I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes.
It doesn't happen. That's correct. Free drinks
That's
tomorrow.
it.
Tomorrow never
Well,
comes.
there's been a bit of action in your neck of the woods and my neck of the woods. There's been a couple of fatalities this coming round
Yeah,
of this month. So
it's the age old topic of our industry is deaths on the road, and
yes, so
unfortunately, in the last couple of weeks, we've had two.
yes, we've had one in WA, which luckily the pilot driver survived. Two vehicles at high speed, early hours of the morning, racing down the freeway, collided with an oversize,
Mm,
thinking that they were, Peter Brock or whatever, and lost control. And unfortunately, it he's not only smashed up the back end of the truck, but he also smashed the pilot vehicle as well. Luckily, the operator of the pilot vehicle was all right. He's went to hospital and got checked over and apparently survived. But
mm.
there's also I believe, a 69-year-old from your neck of the woods that a fatality.
Well, Victoria, anyway. A 69-year-old gentleman by the name of Michael DeVos, um, who's been a traffic controller for some time. He was setting up his lane closure for a dead lane on the 29th of October, and yeah, unfortunately, he was struck by a speeding car.
Yeah, so this is the biggest thing I've got about all that. This is why TMAs need to be used a lot more. So when things
Mm.
like you're doing a simple road closure, you can't do it the old-fashioned way anymore. You used to be able to,
No.
put the ute out there and just reverse the ute and, well, get somebody to reverse the ute while you put the cones in, and
Mm.
you used to be able to do it that way. But I think we've got into a world now where you just companies need to spend that little bit extra on the TMA operator to have the whole boom there. So it mitigates that whole problem. You just well, it almost mitigates the whole problem. Mitigates about 80% of the problem. But
But there's
at
always
least
going to
you'd
be
have the
the one.
TMA there that could go to the starting point of the lane closure and just move so ever slowly to with the controller while he's laying down the cones. Or the other
Yeah.
thing they brought out was that cone truck.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
start rolling those out. Companies invest in those, buy those, which God knows how much they are. But yeah, good investment if you can get your hands on it.
I'd say so, and I'd say that they do help a fair bit because those American ones have a TMA attached to them as well.
Yeah.
So
The
yeah,
American ones actually have the cone operated truck with the TMA boom gate that comes down as well, like just
mm, mm,
as an extra feature. So it's definitely something not only Sydney, Victoria, and WA need to start talking about, they need to start implementing it so this kind of thing stops happening. Because if it continues, people are just not going to want to do traffic control anymore. And then there's going to be a lot of infrastructure that doesn't get built. There's going to be a lot of work sites that come to a halt. If traffic control goes on strike, there's going to be a lot of companies in the shit not going to be able to
yeah,
operate
yeah,
just because the law governs them to have traffic control on site. You don't have traffic control on site, you can't start the operation. So,
yeah.
how many more deaths do we have to have before, people start waking up and going, okay, we can't keep cutting costs? Like, companies, they brag and they run the mouth of safety, 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 always be safe,
Mm,
rate
mm,
safety. But then when it gets mentioned by the traffic controller or the operator saying, XYZ needs to happen, they just go, no, it doesn't. So it's like, why do they bother anymore? They just go, fuck it. They don't give a shit. Why should I? This is
I
why
mean,
you should give a shit, because it's your life that's on the line.
exactly. Would these companies have an argument if the electrician told them that this is something that has to happen, or if the on-site carpenter tells them that this is something that needs to change, they'd change it, wouldn't they?
Oh, 100%, especially if it affected the business. They'd straight up
Mm-hmm.
100% change it. But because they'd have to spend an extra $10,000 on something, or, an extra 15, 20,000 over a whole project, they won't do it because it
Yeah,
costs the company money. But I
but
think until WorkSafe really start taking it more seriously to a point where they start saying, all right, if you don't have these machines in place and something goes wrong,
mm,
i.e., causing a fatality, then you're going to face prosecution as if you're the one that was there on the site. So, let's just say that gentleman had, the one that passed away, the 69-year-old that passed away because he got hit
yeah,
by a speeding
yeah,
vehicle.
mm,
Let's just say that the law was in place that you must have a TMA operator there. If that was there, this guy could still be alive. This bloke would be still alive. But because
yeah.
the
Well,
law doesn't govern them to have a TMA there, it's never going to change. It should be a TMA whenever you're working near a freeway, on a freeway, or lane closure at all. And it's a risk for a speed zone for speeding drivers. Then unfortunately, TMA has to be there.
I'm not sure what the rules are in WA or in Victoria where this accident took place. But here in New South Wales, if a road is over, I think, 70 kilometers per hour,
Hmm.
you have to have a TMA in place.
Yeah, I think ours is 80. I could be wrong. It could have changed. I think ours is 80, but I know
Mm.
definitely on the freeways they've got the TMAs
Yep, yep.
or anywhere like that. But in the low speed areas, they seem to go, oh, well, we don't need a TMA. I think all jobs that if the infrastructure is over 60 kilometers an hour, TMA needs to be implemented because people are going to do more than 60 in that
Oh,
zone
yeah,
anyway.
absolutely.
So, and especially if it's a lane closure, you just need to have a
Mm.
TMA operator. It needs to be implemented and rolled out as law. So then this kind of thing doesn't happen now. Do we know what kind of road this guy was on? Was he on a freeway?
No, the article that I was reading didn't really give any information like that. It just said
Yeah,
it just said that he was setting up his lane closure, so I'm assuming it was more than one lane, so it'd be
yeah,
classified as a highway of some sort.
yeah.
Um, or
Or a
possibly a
double
freeway.
lane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
could
it's
look that up right
very
now.
weird that it's very weird that they wouldn't have a TMA on site. I've seen a couple of TMA operators here in Mandurah being used on the roads here, and the speed zone 70. But they set the TMA up, they like the TMA up, and then
Mm.
they just get out of the truck and walk away from it. which completely defeats the purpose of having the TMA there.
That's illegal. You have to have the operator
I
sitting
always
in the
get on the
cab all the time.
radio and I always get on the radio when I see it and I scan for the channel. And I turn around and I'm like, yeah, this is the work health safety inspector. Unless you want to receive a fine for not being in that TMA, I suggest you getting back in it. And all of a sudden, all you see is this bloke running towards his truck,
Yeah,
jumping
yeah.
back in the truck, putting his harness on. It's always funny when I see it because I'll do it every single time because the idea of the TMA there is to protect the workers that are working in front. So if a speeding driver is coming up and you can see them not going to change lane, you've got the time frame to honk the horn to alert them that, hey, I'm about to be hit, get out of the way, something's about to happen.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
whole point of a TMA, to be there.
Or at least to
So
get
not
on the
only
radio
provide
and
protection, but be there as an advanced warning.
mm.
So
I think the rule here is that TMA drivers are only allowed outside of their vehicle for something like 4 minutes every hour or something like that. And
yeah,
in New South
which is
Wales,
fair enough. Enough time to go to the toilet, do what you got to do, get back in the truck.
yeah, that's enough time to go for a piss and then get back into the cab.
Get back into it, which is
And
fair enough. You
they
shouldn't
are
be
not
getting out of the vehicles anyway.
they're not allowed to leave a 2 meter radius around the truck
Yeah.
either. That's as far away
What
from
needs
the
to
truck as
happen
you want.
is when the workers go on lunch, when it's lunchtime, when you've done say 6-7 hours in the TMA, it needs to be a mandatory break period for every worker on site. That includes the workers that the client they have to break for 15 minutes because the TMA's been sitting there strapped in, all hung up. They know what they signed up for. They
Yeah, yeah.
understand that they're going to be sitting in the truck for 8 hours doing stuff, all getting $45 to $50 an hour. Like, we get it. But it's not comfortable. It's not, oh,
Nah.
yeah, sit there and watch Netflix all day. Your eyes are consistently on a swivel and you're stuck
Yeah.
in one spot. You can't move for eight
I
hours.
have
So,
to.
yes, that's what you signed up for, but there needs to be a mandatory break period where they can go, right, everyone tools down. I'm going for a piss, having something to eat, whatever. You know, something has to happen. Something needs to change. Otherwise, more and more deaths are just going to keep happening.
I need to correct myself. I was wrong about this where Michael was hit. Sorry, I need to correct myself. He was actually hit in Brisbane, not in Melbourne.
Brisbane.
Sorry, the first article I read said he was in Melbourne, but he's not. He was hit in Brisbane, and it was on, where was the road name again? It's on a Brisbane City Council work site on Kelvin Grove Road. So it's a council road.
Council road.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they need to, obviously, WorkSafe will do a full investigation on it. They'll probably provide a bunch of corrections, implementations on fixes, which, well, the bare minimum will probably get done. Not enough will get done because what happens in these investigations is they do just enough to appease the WorkSafe inspector and they get the tick and they move on. And I mean the bare minimum to just get through to get the tick. You know, it's all about cost and money. And until that factor is taken out of it and they start prioritizing life over money, nothing's ever going to change.
And Swagman, I don't know if you've ever driven through a council worksite, but I can tell you that there is plenty that can do with changing on council worksites.
Oh, 100%. Council, they're the most laid back jobs you can get.
Oh, yeah.
Because once you're in them, it's like, even doing gardening work, you're just going from lawn to lawn and mowing lawns. Like, very cruisy, very easy to do. Well, I wouldn't say easy, but very, like, you know, you don't have a boss on your ass going, do this, do that, do this, do that. It's council run. So it's like, here's where it is, here's your equipment, go do the job.
It's not only that, it's more like some of these guys will set up a road closure or something like that, and it'll just be like there'll be no advance warning signs or anything. You're getting
No.
ready to turn left into this road, bam, road's closed.
Yeah,
Sorry,
100%.
there's line of witches hats there and a sign, and maybe if you're lucky, some dude standing there picking his nose, being like, "No, you can't come down here."
Yeah, if you're lucky. Yeah. Sorry, I'm dying here. I'm going to
Can
grab
you
a
do it
drink.
quietly, please?
I shall do it quietly. I shall do my best to do it quietly. It's yeah, councils have got to start taking more responsibility for what's happening. They've got to start prioritising life over it,
Yeah,
over
yeah,
money, because a lot of councils they've got the money, but they don't want to spend the money. They act as if it's their own money that they've worked hard for, and it's not. It's the taxpayers' money. And if
mm,
you go to a vote by the community, they'll all say, we don't mind spending that extra money having TMAs on sites if it's going to save a life. We don't mind spending extra money on equipment that's going to service our parks and recreation areas if the job's going to get done properly. Instead of spending stupid amounts of money on statues and bullshit fucking resort hotels that don't need to happen, and stupid little libraries that are getting built in non-known areas that don't have anybody living in the area, but hey, we'll go put a library building over there. Like, so much stupid shit gets built by councils. Like our Mandurah Council, they closed down the foreshore to revamp the foreshore for God knows what reason, because the foreshore
yeah,
was fine the way it is. They'd only just revamped it a few years ago. Now they've closed it down to revamp it all over again. So it's at that point where they're just pissing money away for absolutely no reason. And if you ask anybody in Mandurah, they turn around and go, I don't know why they've done this. They've wasted taxpayers' money. It's the same thing with our politicians. They're out of touch with the people. We need a whole new independent to run for. Mum, stop calling me. I am busy. She's literally watching the live feed and trying to call me. It's
Is
like
she?
I'm literally recording.
It's like you can
Um,
see I'm doing something.
yeah, she can hear that, she can see what I'm doing, and she's still calling me. And now she's messed up my recording. I actually can't hear anything. So, yeah, if you actually put it to a vote, we need a whole new election, like Pauline Hanson, or just a whole independent party altogether would be great.
Yeah, that's it. Well, what do you think are some safety measures that can help, aside from TMAs, that can help these sort of